Over the next couple of days, and dare I even say weeks, we are going to be witnessing as everyone has their eyes on the gaming industry. Not just because of what's been happening with price increases, the RAM apocalypse, and everything else. No, it's because we're hitting into the actual Summer Games Fest season. With Jeff Keighley's own show coming out next week as well, PlayStation having their State of Play, and Xbox having their showcase on top of it. So clearly, everybody's going to be watching what every other major player is doing, and more than anything, keeping its eye on Xbox. Now, I know what you're saying. Why would anybody be watching what the third place competitor in the gaming space is doing right now? Well, they've been the one having the most change all in the background, with Asha Sharma walking in, Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond being out, and everything happening all at once. Massive changes to the Xbox PC app, rumors going around of major backwards compatibility, and even Windows 11 getting a huge upgrade overall. Not to mention the Xbox Series consoles getting updates to player profiles, achievements, and even a huge list of things that Asha Sharma wants to work on from voices of the actual Xbox community, which is nice on paper, but in reality, we could be seeing a lot of hard choices being made into what Xbox could be doing in this new generation. So things are going to be incredibly interesting to see, because if Xbox can walk out on their showcase, put out tons of games that people want to play, show that they have their attitude back from the 360 and OG Xbox days, and provide good quality content with great updates, we could be seeing a huge comeback happen with Xbox. And personally, that's what I would love to see. More actual competition in the gaming space. People looking at other ways of value of what companies can bring to them. And at the same time, having way more games to play that people in fact want to enjoy as well. But the thing is, Asha Sharma has her work cut out for her, especially after what happened with the previous leadership and some of the decisions that were being made about how much people are paying for Game Pass and even how to grow this brand overall. But it turns out from a report the other day that leaked online, it looks like Xbox may be in fact making the right decisions. But the real question is, what are they going to do next, and how can they recover? Because according to Hazardor Gaming on Twitter saying this, old Game Pass price cost sub losses and slowed growth. Price cuts starting to reverse this, saying Asha Sharma in an internal memo. Also, quote, hard choices are coming for Xbox to restore durable growth. Okay, I need to know one thing and one thing only. How on earth did anybody at Xbox not realize that increasing the monthly rate of Game Pass to $30 a month would cause people to in fact cancel Game Pass? Oh, we need this service to grow exponentially. What do? Let's jack up the price 50%. That way everybody's going to totally enjoy what we're doing. Am I right? Wrong! It's like nobody really knew what was in fact happening at this company, and it's felt like that for an incredibly long time. Watching these price increases, not only for their consoles, but also trying it for their games as well to $80, and then with Game Pass on top of it, people are in fact incredibly sick of what's going on in gaming. And it got so bad that how to cancel Game Pass was trending on Google searches. Pretty much everybody going through and replying to every Xbox post on Twitter with cancel Game Pass, with how much everything was being charged. And personally, everybody should have been angry about what happened. That price increase was astronomical and literally one of the worst decisions Xbox has made in an incredibly long time. So it boggles my mind how anybody can in fact be shocked and or surprised with what Asha Sharma is doing when she cut out Call of Duty and dropped the price by $7. Granted, I would have loved even more of a price cut and even more content being removed. No, I didn't stutter. Things like EA Play, Ubisoft Connect, and everything else should have also been removed from Game Pass as well, regardless of contracts. Same thing with EA wanting to stop a family plan as well, removing all that extraneous third-party content, if you want to call it that, and providing better overall service, and then combining all the Xbox PC app stuff into one hub. No, I don't want to use Battle.net when you guys already own Activision Blizzard. That's another launcher that I do not want to open either. It should all be under the Xbox PC app on its own. It all really goes to show that Xbox still has a ton of work left to do, especially in this space. And clearly what Asha Sharma is trying to do is herd cats into one specific corner to finally get something done. But according to the article by Windows Central, it looks like there's even more hard choices being made and more eyes on the prize. Because according to the article, it says this: in an internal memo obtained via The Verge, Asha Sharma, Xbox's CEO, believes reducing the price of Xbox Game Pass was the right move, stating, quote, growth slowed down and subscriber loss accelerated after the pricing and SKU changes last year. Since our price reduction, we have seen acquisitions grow and retention improve, which is a good first step. Interestingly, I believe this is the first time we've received confirmation that the Game Pass price hike did cause a slowdown in growth and a loss of subscribers, or at least the first time I've personally seen someone at Xbox directly acknowledge it. And that's really the wild thing about what we talked about before, having Asha Sharma basically just acknowledge the fact that so many people canceled Game Pass. They literally priced out their own users, and no matter what they're trying to do right now, they have a lot of ground to cover before they get any goodwill back from those users that have left the service or even left the platform completely. And I really feel that Asha Sharma may have bitten off far more than she can chew. Literally what we're watching right now is an entire generation, or maybe even 2 gens, of terrible bad Xbox PR happening over and over again. Repeated the exact same mistakes. A $4 trillion company unable to actually be nimble and move in the right direction or make the right choices for their users truly is one of the most insane things to see, when so many other smaller companies literally outmaneuver them at every conceivable angle, and you can literally watch as they are trying to recover any sort of ground that they may have lost, whether from Valve on the operating system side with SteamOS, or just in the console space in general. Losing that mindshare and that perspective of just being a bad company really doesn't lay things out properly for them for success, now does it? And that's the interesting part about this. How on earth was the previous leadership capable of making these decisions? Why did it take Asha Sharma to walk in and be like, yo, that's too expensive, what are we doing right now? And then having to make those sweeping massive changes. But the good thing is, it looks like Asha may in fact be doing the right decisions so far. And personally, if this keeps up, we could be watching as Xbox could in fact recover its identity and even try to bring back users. But it looks like there's even more that Asha has to do as well. Check this out. With the article continuing by saying this: however, Sharma is quick to point out that this small win is far from a complete turnaround, stressing that there is still more work to be done. She went on to say, quote, we will not solve this in one moment or one launch. We will have to outwork the problem in front of us in our path to restore durable growth. Within the memo, Sharma also discusses the rebrand from Xbox to capital Xbox. Despite my reluctance to capitalize Xbox every time I type it, Sharma says this, quote, we are building a stronger Xbox. That means making hard choices about what we build, where we invest, and what kind of company we need to be going forward. That is part of what you're starting to see in the shift from Xbox to capital Xbox. It reflects the decision to be deliberate in how we show up for the players who care the most about this brand. Now look, I gotta say, Asha, those are a lot of great words, and you've been saying a lot of great things. Personally though, for me, actions speak louder than words. You can say something great that I want to hear, but if I don't see it put into place or in action, literally anything could in fact happen. And there's one pair of words that you said in your statement that really are setting the internet on fire right now, and that are the words hard choices. Everybody is thinking about what that in fact means and are trying to extrapolate a whole bunch of stuff from that little sentiment and statement. And that's where things could truly go awry. What hard choices is she talking about? Are they hard choices for the brand itself? Are they choices for what's going to impact the user? And personally, if they don't put the user as their main primary focus and make hard choices around them and how they can be successful with that user, then in my opinion, it's all going to be completely for naught. There's really no point to doing this are having these decisions, making these changes, bringing in these executive heads to walk in and fix the problem, when if you don't put the main focus on the user and what their experience is like, we're literally just wasting our time on the entire thing. If you want to talk about hard choices, here are some hard choices I think Xbox absolutely has to make. Number one, you've got to reduce the price of your systems and consoles. I know we're in a RAM apocalypse. I know all things are happening across the board right now. Even Valve had to exponentially increase the price of their Steam Deck, which is 4 years old. But a company like Microsoft, being a $4 trillion supergiant in this space, I feel like you guys have the funds to absolutely take a loss on the hardware, especially if you want to really show that you're making hard choices. The Series X should be $399, the Series S $199, hell, $99. These devices are 6+ years old with 7 to 8 year old tech inside them. There's no reason these devices should be costing anywhere close to $700. Right now should be the time where everybody buys their secondary console, yet nobody can afford anything whatsoever. If Xbox walks out with a massive price decrease, that is a huge, hard choice this company has to make. Take a loss and help increase the user base from all the people looking at another way on trying to afford games in an easier state. But the thing is, that's just my one opinion on what Asha Sharma can in fact do. There are other people who think the exact same way though. With Paris on Twitter saying this: Xbox Game Pass, like any subscription service, only works if it's reasonably priced and has consistent and compelling content that you want to consume. Lowering the price of Ultimate and PC was a great first step, but now the next challenge is staying consistent with quality games. Said it before, but I don't envy Asha Sharma, as she has a tough job of balancing bringing value, taking care of the core audience, and running a profitable business as the biggest publisher in gaming. And I think Paris is absolutely correct. Right now, what people are looking for are not exclusive games, it's not big AAA tentpole titles, and it absolutely is not everything you see on Twitter. What people are looking for right now in gaming is good, affordable compute that's going to last them a long time, and they're also looking for a company that is making hard choices, but not hard choices around how to increase the actual shareholder value. People want to see hard choices being made around the consumer itself, as they are the focal point of what these companies in fact want. If Asha wants to increase monthly active users, they're going to have to bring more value and lower prices. If Xbox wants to sell more consoles or grow Game Pass, they have to do more for those users as well. If you're trying to pull people away from another platform that they've invested into, the only way to do that right now is in fact to lower the prices. And lower them, they absolutely should. But again, those are just my opinions on what Asha and Xbox should do in terms of making hard decisions. But it looks like Jez Corden might have also had some insight to this as well. According to the article by Jez Corden saying this: but what of these tough decisions? It could represent some painful pills for Xbox fans in the short term. Here are some of my initial reactions to comments and questions I've had on socials and beyond. Number 1, Xbox Helix is safe for now. Someone asked me if those tough decisions could involve cutting hardware, particularly since Asha mentioned the need to hold tough decisions over, quote, what they build. I confirmed via my sources that there are no plans to pull back from delivering Xbox hardware. Growing Xbox's hardware footprint is something Asha is interested in doing, although procuring memory for gaming products is, I'm told, an incredibly difficult task right now. I was told that Microsoft has teams literally working 24/7 sourcing memory for its needs right now. I gotta say this, there has been some really weird talk online about how Xbox should completely leave the hardware gaming space and only be a publisher. Personally, this is literally a pipe dream from PlayStation fanboys that I've always seen consistently wanting less competition for them in this space. Literally only to win an imaginary console war that they've dictated in their own minds is the most important thing on the face of the earth. I'll tell you this, if Xbox leaves hardware, that will be a massive detriment to the gaming space and also to every person on PlayStation. If you think they're bad right now with raising prices of not only services, but also variable rate pricing in games and DRM and price increases of their consoles, just wait and see what happens if there's less actual physical players in this space. Literally, one of the worst things to look at is wanting Xbox to leave hardware. Actually a stupid take if people in fact want this to happen. But the thing is, it gets even crazier because if Helix in fact does come out and it's priced incorrectly, they might as well have not released it at all. The rumors going around for it being a $1,200 PC literally doesn't bode well for the industry whatsoever. And affordable consoles, which used to be the break entry point for a lot of casual gamers, will no longer be around at all. And if Microsoft does this, it could be the biggest rug pull on the face of the earth, where if they put out a system that is too unaffordable, they will turn around and give you the cure for it and say, well, here's our ad-supported cloud streaming service where you can play all your games via the cloud. No, people don't want that either. And personally, if that's the route things are going to go, I think Xbox will make a massive mistake. But there's even more to what Jez said. With his article saying this, could the tough decisions fall on Xbox Game Pass content? Xbox's new CSO, Matthew Ball, said in his own analysis that subscriptions had grown as retail sales had decreased. Would pulling, quote, day one games out of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate improve margins on retail sales? It's a hard sell in my view. Consumer sentiment is down across the board. I'm not sure you want to give people more reasons to quit Xbox Game Pass. It's a guaranteed revenue and stable stream that insulates against hits and misses. But at the same time, they might be looking at how much additional money they might have made by keeping Forza Horizon 6 out of the subscription. This is also another talking point that I've heard about online, and clearly one of the dumbest ones I've ever seen. Yes, let's do this. Let's create a service that people in fact use with consistent revenue across the board every month, especially when they don't raise the prices to $30 and keep prices low, by the way. To go through and remove the actual tentpole titles we paid billions of dollars for in the IP from that literal service. Look, I'll tell you this, if you want to sit there and say, pay for this one live service, but at the same time, all the massive tentpole games that you want to play, like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, they're not going to hit it. Why would anybody pay for that monthly active service? It's stupid. You're literally just going around and prepping the coffin for the action thing. Let's be real about this. The only way this would in fact work, and the only way it would be viable if Xbox removed actual massive titles from its Game Pass service would be to lower the price of Game Pass service with every title removed. Oh, you want to take out Elder Scrolls and Fallout when those come out? Well, it should be $14.99 now for Game Pass, with everything else in between. Nobody's going to sit there and pay $20 or $23 for a service that's not going to give them what they were told would be there. That would literally be Xbox stepping on a rake. Yes, let's keep the price high, but also give you less content. That'll totally work. Literally, it's people wanting Xbox Game Pass to cease function, removing all value from this brand. And clearly, it makes no actual sense. Game Pass should be that alternative for people to go through and play a bunch of video games. If you're going to release content on that service a year after those games come out because they're big hitters, then the price of that service has to be adjusted correctly, and in the lower aspect, by the way. And finally, Jez Corden says this: I'm not expecting a ton of movement on exclusives. Xbox's feedback website is inundated with requests for exclusive games. But as I said, selling software on other platforms is where Xbox's best and brightest margins are right now. Maintaining your store platform isn't cheap either. And much like anything that requires memory, it has also increased in price. The best margins are still on your own platform, of course, but given the fact margins on selling hardware are in the toilet, creating desirability for hardware you can't even sell effectively doesn't seem viable in the short to medium term. Something needs to change on the supply chain before we get back to a meaningful layer of exclusive games, more than likely. Although I do expect some, quote, token commitments, such as either timed exclusivity, Windows, or a couple of franchises' future unannounced games going exclusive, such as icons like Halo. Here's the deal about exclusivity that I think nobody is in fact talking about. Until the prices of hardware go back down to what they were before the 2020s, we're never getting exclusives back. And I know every PlayStation fanboy is like, well, we've got them because they're not on PC anymore. Look, your guys are talking about a rumor that was confirmed by the same person who made the rumor as well. And even if PlayStation did do that, it will be at a detriment to you as a user because they're more than absolutely likely going to increase the price of their games as well. Games right now cost way too much money. Hardware right now is completely unaffordable and incredibly expensive. And if the next-gen rumors are in fact true, we're going to be seeing hardware more increase in price again, creating a massive gap between who can afford games and who can't. And that's going to be a huge problem overall, meaning that if the pool of users that you're selling to keeps shrinking, you're going to have to find new users to sell your games to. And that means putting your games on other storefronts and other platforms to gain those sales that you were losing because of your shrinking console market due to pricing. Right now, if consoles were in fact cheaper than they ever have been, we would be seeing a vastly different space. People who are into Xbox would now be buying their first PlayStation 5. People who have PS5s will now be buying their first Xboxes because they've hit a break point in price and they're more affordable, and you can now have that second console because you're not paying $700, you're paying $299, maybe even a little bit less, which would then increase the pool of users, which would then have more game sales and then have a viable reason to have exclusive content. Right now, though, game development costs are too high, game console hardware is too high, and things are not looking good for the industry overall unless there's a massive crash and things change. And that's really the entire thing with all of this happening right now. Xbox is on the comeback. I really believe that in some way. And I feel like Asha Sharma has been saying the right things. I think the problem, though, is what are they going to do next? What decisions are going to be made? And how can Asha Sharma make sure that they don't make the wrong decision? Because clearly, everything Xbox is doing right now is under a massive microscope. If they move too quickly and make a hasty decision, it's going to blow up in their face 10 times worse than any other person in this space right now. I think what Xbox has to do is not cut off their nose to spite their face. They need to go through and think about how they change perception of their own brand. And the first thing they should do, in my opinion, is lower the prices. That would be a huge green flag for everybody else, as every other company has raised their prices across every piece of hardware right now. And if Xbox does a price decrease, a meaningful price decrease, by the way, before GTA 6, you could be putting a lot of other competitors in a very difficult position. Even if the Series S or Series X doesn't play those games in the best fidelity or frame rate, it's not about that anymore. Now it's about affordability and if you can even play games at all. And I think that's what Xbox and a lot of other companies are refusing to in fact see. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comment section down below. What other hard choices do you think Xbox could be making to make things better for you as a user? And what things could Xbox look out for to not catch the actual rake and step on it? I want to hear what you've got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With S Madman saying this: E.T. still remembers the 1983 video game crash. Sandman, you're absolutely correct, and so many people still forget the crash of that era as well. Things got insane, a lot of slop was pushed out to users, and people were in fact tired of playing broken, buggy, expensive video games that literally did not warrant the price they were asking for. Boy, things do sound familiar now, don't they? Hopefully we don't get a crash, but instead just a slight correction on AAA gaming where budgets are in fact adjusted and people get better games overall. We've got the tools for it. We see indies do it. Now it's time for the industry to step up as well. But as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content, though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during those live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, don't even sweat it. Just come on down to the live stream Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel. It's actually insane. I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. Every Saturday night, live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here. Oh, and do you want even more of me? Check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. I upload videos on that channel every single Monday, and usually at the same time, we'll be live streaming daily as well. Today's live stream is going to be a little bit different. We're starting up with Path of Exile 2's new league, so come on down and check it out. More than likely, I'll probably still be streaming. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!